Pinstripe the tip to field.
It is Saturday, August 2nd, and the Yankees were trying to recover from another devastating loss, this time at the hands of the Miami Marlins in Game 2 of a 3-game set. Cam Schlittler on the mound, bringing the heat in Miami. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
You watch the game? I mean, didn't it suck? It sucked.
How's it going, everybody? If you're a Yankees fan, it can't be going too well. That was a waste of time. That was a waste of, 2.5 hours? Game got done pretty quick, 2 hours and 26 minutes, roughly. That'll happen when you get 2 freaking hits, and there's 6 hits combined between the two teams. I mean, baseball's weird. Last night we get the 13-12 game, one of the more wild games that you'll see, and then today, just kind of a snooze fest, aside from Agustin Ramirez coming back to bite the Yankees with a couple of home runs. We had more horrendous base running today. Horrendous. We actually saw Aaron Boone get mad in the dugout at one of his coaches. We've never seen him do that before. He brought Jazz Chisholm down into the tunnel area and presumably yelled at him or wanted to know what's going on. I don't know if I've seen Boone as mad as he was at his first base coach. I mean, the only time he gets that angry are with home plate umpires or with John Boy. So I guess he's finally had enough of the bad base running because, as Michael K. pointed out, correctly, I should add, it reflects extremely poorly on the manager. You know, the fundamentals on this team, the coaching on this team, got to be better. And fundamentals isn't just fielding. It's every aspect of the game. You know, it's base running. It's decisions in the field, where to throw the ball, where to cut, where to cover. It's all that stuff. And that reflects poorly on the coaches and on the manager when you don't do it right. But before we get to this game, because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about, Yankees obviously lost 2-0, got 2 hits. I wanted to hop back in the DeLorean for a second and go back to yesterday's game, because I don't think Terrence and I did last night's weirdness justice. I think we were both kind of too stunned to process it. So, you know, last night, it was so unbelievable that it was almost funny. It was like if you bought a brand new car, okay, and you drive it home, and you park it in your driveway, and then an hour later, there's a hailstorm with tennis ball-sized hailstones. And it gets all dented up, and the windshield gets smashed out and shattered. It's not funny in the moment. It's devastating in the moment. But eventually, after insurance has paid for everything, and you've got your car back to normal, it becomes a funny story, right? Remember when we traded for those 4 guys, and they all combined to blow the game the next day? That's what it's going to be. It's going to be one of those. It's a step up from the 2022 deadline where almost every player that Cashman traded for ended up having surgery within 6 months. It was Montas, it was Benintendi, it was Efros, it was Lou Trevino. I think they got Harrison Bader at that deadline too. I don't know if he had surgery, but I think he had already had surgery. He was like in a walking boot or something at that point. So I was hoping that the Yankees would get off the mat today and show some life after a devastating loss, but the opposite happened.
All right, let's go. Let's get it going.
Now, I know a lot of you are hoping for a rant today. I just don't have it in me, man. I'm just in a grumbly mood after the last 2 games. It hasn't built up. The storm is still brewing. The clouds are gathering. They keep playing like this, and you'll get one. But we had a big hit by Giancarlo Stanton in the first inning. Yankees tried to manufacture a run, but Rojas sent Grisham, and he got thrown out by 9.5 miles. Okay? Really, he should not have been sent. Max Goodman tweeted that it was the worst send by a third base coach he's ever seen. I can't say I disagree. But Rojas has had a lot of bad ones over the years. Stanton, the guy who hit the ball, he's waved him home a few times. He should have a stop sign out there just for when Stanton's on base. More horrendous base running from the Yankees in the second inning. Jazz Chisholm, I thought he had a great at-bat, by the way. To draw the walk, he takes a pitch just outside of the zone. He works the walk. But then Paul Goldschmidt hits a pop-up that's a mile high. I mean, we're not talking a screaming line drive at the second baseman here. He hits a pop-up that probably took 5 seconds to come down. And what does Jazz Chisholm do? He stands about a third of the way, maybe more, maybe 40% of the way between first base and second base. Just stands there watching it like he's taunting the second baseman. I don't understand what he's trying to gain there by playing those games. I don't know if he forgot how many outs there were. Maybe they'll talk about it in the postgame. I'm sure Boone will have something to say. Hopefully they have a closed-door meeting first to discuss ways that they can mitigate all of these problems that we're having on the bases and in the field and so forth. But pop-up, a mile high, second baseman catches it and doubles off Jazz Chisholm. What the hell are you doing? First of all, I would have had Jazz Chisholm's ass out of the game right then and there. I'd have had him out, take a hike, sit down. Can't tell me he wouldn't have benched Gleyber Torres for that. He would have benched a lot of guys for that. For some reason, left Jazz in there. And then, after the next inning, he goes out and he plays the bottom half of the inning, comes back in for the top of the third, to the dugout, and Boone brings him down into the little tunnel area, presumably all on the way to the clubhouse, and had a little discussion with him. He presumably didn't want to rip him in front of the cameras, which I understand. Jazz might not be somebody who responds well to that. And a minute later, Jazz comes out, and then you see Boone just tearing into his first base coach. Tearing into him. And we don't see him do this. I would love to see the breakdown, the lip reading on this one. I want to know exactly what was said. But I also want to know what Jazz was thinking there. I've got to hear it straight from Jazz, right? I don't want to hear Boone's interpretation of it. Jazz needs to man up and understand that you can't do that, and you gotta basically be smarter than that. But that was one of the dumbest plays I've ever seen.
He must be the stupidest son of a bitch alive.
Marlins got their 2 runs on solo home runs by Agustin Ramirez, one of the guys the Yankees traded for Jazz Chisholm. 17 home runs now. And he feels like a guy who's going to become a DH and hit like Jose Bautista for a decade. He's just got that kind of lightning bat speed, and he barrels the ball up. He's hitting .244 with a .760 OPS. I think he's got a lot of room in there to grow. We got a call here from Marissa about him.
How come, this is Marissa from Long Island, by the way, how come everyone we've traded away this past season is becoming a Yankee killer? Carlos Narvaez, Agustin Ramirez, and then they pick up, they're good pitchers. But last night, as your Yankee debut, oof.
Yeah. Last night was a tough debut for a number of guys. Bird pitched better today. He threw a scoreless inning. He had 2 strikeouts. Weaver and Hill got the job done. So 3 scoreless innings from the Yankees bullpen. So that's good. But you're right. When they trade guys, they automatically become Yankees killers. Right? I mean, it's something about playing against the Yankees after you've played for the Yankees. Just gets you charged up. Schlittler was done after 5 innings. I thought he was pretty good aside from the home runs. We'll talk about him in a second. Like I said, Jake Bird looked better. Luke Weaver was fine, but the Yankees just couldn't get anything going offensively, and they dropped 2 straight. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Cam Schlittler.
Pitcher Spotlight.
Struck out the side in the first inning, but also gave up the home run to Ramirez. I thought he threw the ball fine today. I mean, 5 innings, 92 pitches. That's a little bit high, but it's not unreasonable this day and age. The fastball was maintaining velocity. I thought the hook was better today. I thought the curveball was sharper. And he threw a couple of good ones. Paul O'Neill mentioned that he dropped a couple of them in there that he thought were really good. And Paul O'Neill typically, he knows a good pitch when he sees one, right? I mean, you don't become that good of a hitter without recognizing when somebody's got good stuff. So, we saw a couple of good sharp ones. We saw the fastball stay in the 98 mile an hour range for pretty much the whole game. And it's interesting that when he was in the minors, they don't think he threw that hard. They say he was throwing 95, 96, but now he's 98, 99. You wonder what that is. Is it the extra adrenaline? But, I mean, this is a guy who just throws extremely hard. Good ride on the fastball. I think he's going to be a really good pitcher, especially if he learns how to harness that curveball that he threw today. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts. He had 2 walks. The ERA on the season now 4.58. The whip is a little high, 1.68, but I thought it was an okay performance from Cam Schlittler. Giancarlo Stanton. Let's talk about him. I think what we're seeing right now from Stanton is the best version of him as a hitter that we've had in the regular season since he got traded to the Yankees, with the possible exception of 2021, in which he had an 870 OPS. He had 35 home runs that year. He had a really nice stretch. And then, of course, he made the All-Star team in 2022 before he fell apart in the second half, but he was really good for a while there. But just the adjustments that he's made to his stance, he's always been a little bit closed off, but I feel like he's leaning in a little bit more, maybe just getting a little bit better look at the pitch. And I think he's seeing the ball really well. He was driving the ball really, really well to right field, starting to hit home runs to right field, using the open side for a base hit when they'd give it to him. And so now recently, they're starting to pitch him inside. They're starting to say, okay, well, he's obviously handling the pitch away. It's made it around the league. Let's try and bust him in. Let's see if he's still got the bat speed. And obviously he does. Now he's starting to pull the ball. You saw the home runs 2 days in a row, one about a quarter of the way up the left field bleachers, and then he hit one yesterday in Miami. And then today, first at bat, he raked one 110 miles an hour for a base hit. He hit it too hard for the runner to score. Should have never been sent. And then his second at bat, he got robbed of a hit, but he hit one 112 miles an hour off the bat that Graham Pauley made a really nice play on. So he's definitely swinging the bat well. But I'm worried about moving him to the outfield. I know the Yankees are saying that he's going to play a little bit of the outfield when Aaron Judge comes back because, Judge is going to be DHing. And I just don't think that's a good idea. I think you're going to end up having this guy break down. I mean, he can't run. He cannot run at all. He's going to pull a calf or a hamstring or a groin. We all know it. I'm sure that when it happens, I can pull this clip and put it on social media and everybody will share it because we all are seeing it. Today's August 2nd. If they start playing him in the outfield, by August 15th, he's going to be on the injured list. Or permanently bedridden, like Uncle Joe from Willy Wonka. Try to play this guy in the outfield. He's mashing. Let him DH. Here's the solution. When Judge comes back, you put him in right field, like you always do, and you say, hey, Judgy boy, how about you throw it about 40 to 50%? And by the way, hit the cutoff man for a while, right? Even if there's a tough play, a close play that requires a good throw, he can get up and get it quickly to the cutoff man, Jazz Chisholm, who'll be at second base most of the time. And Chisholm has got a good arm, right? And he's fast enough to get out there if there's a ball hit to right field. You can't afford to pull Stanton out of the lineup right now, and you can't afford to lose him for 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. You just can't do it. We can all see it coming a mile away. So the Yankees need to just reassess this right now and avoid putting him in the outfield. Let's take a couple more voicemails.
It's just a reaction.
Yeah, Derek, this is Vinny from Michigan. Okay, here's our problem. We need a new third base coach. I mean, come on. Stanton ripped that ball so hard and Cowser had the ball in his hand to throw him before Grissom ever got to third base, and the guy's waving him home, and he was out by 20 feet. Come on. Is Boone going to hold these people accountable or what? Bye.
Yeah, I thought Jazz might have been showboating a little bit, so he shares some of the blame. But the first base coach has got to be all over him. And the third base coach, no excuse for that. Rojas has been just awful for years now. He has been terrible. I mean, he got Stanton thrown out at home in the World Series. We got a few more calls about it.
Hey, I know another trade. We need to get rid of our third base coach. What the hell is going on over there? That play in the first was awful. Oh, my gosh. All right. Bye.
And we got Brian weighing in as well.
Hey, what's going on, Derek? I know we all call and complain about crazy things from time to time, and you have to sit and listen about it, but that Jazz Chisholm play we all just watched, where he's sitting there farting around on what should have been an infield fly rule. I'm sure it was. But either way, absolutely inexcusable. I don't think I've ever seen anything of the sort. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. From a Yankees team in my lifetime, maybe the Bad News Bears, but never a Yankees team. And at some point, Boone has to go out and really say something either in the press conference, bench these guys, whatever. That is inexcusable. Man, I'm almost at a loss for words. Please take it over from here, man. All right.
Yeah, I mean, Boone needs to flip some chairs in the locker room. Do you remember that scene in Moneyball where Billy Beane walks in? I know it was fictional, but I'm sure this has happened many, many times in life. And everybody's partying, and Jeremy Giambi's dancing on the table, and it was after a loss. And he smashes the stereo with a bat, and he says, "That's what losing sounds like." That's what we need. We need him to go nuclear. We'll take a few more comments in just a minute, but first, quick word from DraftKings. Nothing says summer like long days, clutch plays, and firing off a few bets on the game. All with DraftKings Sportsbook. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for a gambling problem. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. I mean, I don't even know what Jazz was thinking there. I can't wrap my mind around it. I'm just going to be picturing it in my head all day. What was he thinking there? Chad Pritchett with the super chat says, these are supposed to be free wins. Not watching the rest of the series. They don't want to play. He doesn't want to watch. Well, no such things as free wins in baseball. And the Marlins been playing pretty well recently. And you watch their style of play. They hustle. They play defense. You know, they got some good arms. They're not bad. Roberts does zero fundamentals. Offensively, defensively, base running, I agree. Fundamentals have been terrible. El Nueve says, bring in Joe Madden. Love Joe Madden. Better yet, bring back Joe Girardi, right? Matthew says, I agree with Ray Fonseca just a minute ago, said that he wanted Girardi back because if Girardi was leading the helm, Yankees would be up by a dozen games. I don't know if it would be that much, but I think Girardi is the perfect guy for this. You know what? Anybody but Boone. That's where I'm at right now. ABB. Anybody but Boone. And then Matt wants to know why we got rid of Girardi. Apparently he was tough on Gary Sanchez. And then Derek Wiley says 2 hits and another game lost to the Jays. It gets better. The Yankee killer Astros are soon to arrive. It's going to be interesting to see how the Yankees climb out of this hole, but at least we have strengthened the pen supposedly. Judge coming back this week. Tomorrow, Luis Gil making his debut. I tell you what, a really good start from Luis Gil to salvage this series and avoid the sweep will make me feel a lot better. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, call in. Maybe we'll do a voicemail show. We'll see. But call in with your thoughts on the state of the team, on the coaching, the base running, all that stuff. And we'll see you next time. If you made it this far, do us a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and join our community. You can also be a part of the show by calling in at 718-899-1068. Also, part of the way that we maintain and fund all of this is through NYYDesigns.shop. Check it out now. Get all sorts of fun Yankees merch, hats, hoodies, zip-ups, beanies, mugs, you name it. We've got it. Check it out, NYYDesigns.shop. And check out Pinstripe Territory on all your favorite podcast platforms. We are the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We're here for post-game shows after every single game, and we're here before a lot of games to talk about the game, preview the lineup, the pitching matchups, and things like that. And we're here all off-season to talk about the latest in Yankees rumors, news, etc. Join our community. We'll see you next time.